Irony! I think it's irony. Let's get to the auto ISO. There we go. So, we have rain coming down a little bit, and it's 34 degrees. Meanwhile, last night, it's like 39 degrees, 37 and snowing. It's chemical ice nucleation, you know? They got it cold now. They got it in the 30s so they can just let the rain, cloud seed for rain or something, I guess. It's max misery, you gotta remember. Sorry, Foster. Max misery for the people is what the controllers want. So, on the day with a lot of children out, of course they call them, remember they call them kids, because kid's a baby goat, and the occult, you know, these Satanists sacrifice goats, so they're calling your children future sacrifices. Just keep that in mind. That's what they think of you, you moron. Oh, I almost said it. They think we're all morons, all right? And I have to admit, most of the professors in academia are a bunch of morons. But yeah, humanity is better than that. So let's figure this out. But yeah, they get it to rain, cloud seed, but it's not the chemical ice nucleation right now, so it's just raindrops. Although they seem to have subsided already. But they're gonna come back because they want rain and stuff. It's not just about misery for the children out, you know, at school. This is to destroy farming. This is to destroy our food source. Do people get that? Without the food source, you guys remember Ireland, the famine, the potato famine bullshit? Well, Britain's had one too in the 1500s. What was it? I don't know. Flat Earth British on his channel was had a link to an article from paper describing the situation in that country at that time, that the weather was so uncooperative that they couldn't grow crops. The cows, the livestock all starved to death. They had to butcher them, or they couldn't feed them. They couldn't feed themselves. They had to butcher. They couldn't grow crops because of the shit weather. So it tells me, you know, then you go to other little notes that they've been manipulating the weather for thousands of years. And I'm not... It's true. Whatever. I know we're told that we have the technology, you know, whatever. It's just too many things add up. Whenever they seem to want to kill off, do a reset, they first screw the food supply, right? I bet you could go and look at... you know, some of the other situations where right before kill-offs, wars or something, that the food supply was reduced because of weather. I don't have stats on that. I'm not looking this shit up. I know it. I'm not a fucking moron, all right? Or maybe I am. But at least I'm thinking for myself. I don't need some fucking stupid program shill professor to tell me a bunch of fucking lies and deception. Jesus Christ. Tell me when the academia is going to let out some truth about anything. You know, they go right along with the bullshit of the oil. They got to know that's bacteria. It's a Ouroboros thing. It eats itself and it dies and it eats the dead. And it keeps creating new life from the dead. Like that, you know, serpent eating the tail. So... they gotta know that. I'm just an idiot driving around Uber, and I know this shit. Or at least, it might be true, because I know that the wells, oil's a naturally occurring substance, second most abundant liquid on Earth. So quit and it reproduces. That's why they'll cap a well and oil well and come back 20 years and it's full, because it refills. We believe the dumbest shit that academia tells us, and what the controllers, what you guys realize, all we're doing is being told what to believe, what they want us to believe. Does it mean it's the truth? No. It just means, I mean, that's what we're accepted. Have you ever noticed somebody in academia is considered smart or a great professor because they can recite the bullshit that Sigmund Freud stated, or some other bullshit, one of their own controller puppets that they had out there? You know, sort of like the evolutionary guy, Darwin with his master mason dad and his brother the mason and all that shit. Like those guys are telling the truth. Fuck that. You believe we came from pond scum? You know, I believe that about as much as I believe, I don't know. I believe anything academia told me over the years. They're full of shit. A bunch of fucking liars. And all they know how to do is program you 20-somethings into being, like, you know how to put labels on everybody. You guys are like the, you know how in religions, which is, I know it's a terrible thing to think about, even though some of them teach some valuable things, like not judging people. But you guys, you 20-somethings, you got a fucking label for everything. You got a label that your professor gave you, and you're gonna adhere it to every fucking thing, everything. You guys are the least critically thinking group of motherfuckers I've ever come across. And selfish. You know, we're all been programmed and manipulated. Our thoughts are constantly programmed. You ever go out and you're feeling good, you're not thinking about, as a guy, you know, so often we're thinking about women and trying to get laid, but you have one of those days where it's not in your brain. You got all these other things, your day's going great, and then, like, I don't know, you see a commercial, hear a commercial, something, and all of a sudden you're now looking at asses, or you got distracted on something. It's those thoughts that they're able to put into our head. If you ever notice, like, when they do their news now, like, I watched some NPR the other day, just a couple minutes. It starts up after Arthur. My daughter watches Arthur, so NPR comes on, and then they always have to do their bullshit where they tell the story, which is fine. You reported some shit. Okay, leave it at that. But no, then they're like, well, we're going to bring in this ex-military guy to tell us that Donald Trump sucks. And what do you say? Oh, Donald Trump sucks. Okay, and let's bring in this other person and say Donald Trump sucks. Okay, Donald Trump sucks. Okay, great. Everybody got that? Donald Trump sucks. It's like, dude, you didn't fucking talk about anything. It's bizarre. So now you all have to believe that it's like in sports. Remember in sports when nobody gave a shit about guys doing steroids? They're just like enjoying the sports. Who gives a flying fuck what that guy puts in his body? And steroids aren't bad for humanity. They might be actually really good, and that's why they're demonized, because they're like, oh shit, this might be good for humans. We can't have that, so now we got to demonize it, make it seem all shitty. But as the elite, we'll keep this shit for ourselves and improve upon it and make us live much longer, healthier, and all that stuff. That's how you can get these 168-year-old George Soroses and, you know, these Evelyn Rothschilds at 4,000 years old, or, you know, the Queen of England, that German Jewish woman, which is irony that she's the Queen of England because she's not a goddamn bit English. But whatever. Yeah. That's funny. Anyways, I'm done with my rants today, I guess. But this weather's bullshit. Start thinking for yourself. When you see it snowing at 40 degrees, that's not natural, okay? I don't give a shit what the shills at the Weather Service channel, whatever. I don't care what these shills are gonna say. It doesn't mean there's any fucking truth to it, you know? Just because they say it and they sit on a television program and other people like academics go along with it. Well, those guys have sold their souls. Everybody who teaches earth sciences in school, in college, is a complete, utter fucking sellout to mankind. All right? They're not humanity's friends. These guys have sold their souls. They're pieces and piles of shit. You know that? Every goddamn professor in this country is a fucking sellout. There might be one or two good ones. One, maybe. Maybe. I can't find them. I don't know. All this, like, if I can look up at the clouds and notice this shit's completely different than it was, in 1978, and it's not fucking the planet warming and all that bullshit. And even if the planet was caused by, what was done, did any of us have any part in that? I mean, no. We are just little progs. We're just going along, trying to get through life. We're just the average human being on Earth. We didn't do shit with them and the multinational corporations building this shit up and the military-industrial complex blowing bombs all over the fucking place, trying to get more death, more death, more death. And who's dying in all these wars? It's just the humans. These wars are nothing more than a way to cleanse. It's almost like they're resets, And they always get rid of the food before the reset, so keep that in mind. Anyways, peace.